Hello, everyone who's tuning in. I have decided I want to do a new kind of video. I want to do a form of video essays. Who did I watch? I watched a creator called Mickey Galvin do one of these and I loved it, and I feel like I could definitely have a few of my own takes that I would be able to articulate through a video platform / podcast / me talking. I don't know. It's been a while since I've made one of these videos. It's so weird. But hey, if you're an old viewer from back in the hippie bohemian days, welcome. That Liv physically might not be here, but she's still here internally. So I wanted to make this video kind of as an introduction / New Year mentality to kind of get us all in this idea of just freely expressing ourselves, nothing holding us back, because we are all here existing and there's absolutely nothing that should be holding us back from doing that. This is the name of my first episode, which is You Never Know Who's Watching. And the point of this is you should be creating for the sake of creating. You should be creating more than you are consuming. You should be consuming content that makes you want to create. By creating things, you are inviting in opportunities for that creation to expand. And I have experienced this firsthand many times. And I think a lot of us get in our own heads about being perceived. And I feel like this is a very prevalent time where a lot of people are silent watchers. You don't know who is absorbing your content and who's taking the most influence from it, and the type of person that is watching and being influenced will probably surprise you. This is someone that might purposely look up your name and they just feel inspired by you, even just by looking at your page, even by just seeing you in person. This could be a friend. You just don't know who's watching and who is taking inspiration from you. I think we sometimes underestimate the influence of our content or the things that we create because we don't always get that instant gratification from people. The point of putting your thoughts out there is not that there is a point, but the point is to share parts of yourself for the mere fact of sharing and expressing yourself. Post whatever you want. Share whatever you want with the world. You never know who's watching and what opportunities that might then further invite into your world. I think by expressing and freely doing all of the things that we love and not to do it for the gratification or for an audience, because even though we are now putting things on platforms for people to see, it's if you remove the expectation that people are going to give you that gratification, that then it becomes more meaningful and worthwhile. Furthermore, by doing all of this, by freely expressing yourself, you're then inviting new opportunities to come in. I want to give some examples that have happened to me since doing this. I remember, obviously, I used to post YouTube videos back in high school, and this took a lot of pushing, the embarrassment of Shear's YouTube videos. And I think getting past that point, because I have had such a deep desire to express myself, so that kind of pushed me over the edge past any cringiness or scared of being perceived. I just kind of did it. When I started posting, and I remember it was probably around 2017 where my videos started to get watched by a lot more people than I ever anticipated, right? And that only happened because I just kept posting. Even when I would post a video and it would get 20 views, I would post and it would get 100 views, maybe 5 likes. I just never let that stop me. I just kept on posting. And I think we're forgetting that, yes, we're in a world with social media and we are more visible to a lot more people. Doesn't mean that you're gonna just suddenly go viral. But I kept posting. It took years of filming because I was actively exploring my creativity and myself through YouTube as a platform. I've actually put back up some of my old videos because I realize that it's such an important part of me and it's not something to be embarrassed about. By using this platform, it then allowed me to find an audience of people who resonated with my content and my ideas and who I was and what I loved. And that then made me very confident, and it helped people. Like I said, you never know who's watching those videos, who's taking inspiration. I, even to this day, still get messages from people who used to watch my videos telling me how much it helped them. And I think that's where it's come to now, is moving to Sydney. I feel like I'm trying to figure myself out all over again. But listening to creators who do social commentary or talk about, how these things affect us, and empowering ourselves through just expressing ourselves. Everything has just become so complicated because of the internet. And I think we overcomplicate that for ourselves. We have this deep fear and anxiety of being perceived, and I just think we need to stop. I started making jewelry about 3 or 4 years ago now. My first pieces were questionable. They were nothing special. They weren't even formed correctly. Like, I don't even think they would comfortably sit on a finger. If you have an original piece of jewelry by me, like, thank you for having faith in me. But that's kind of my whole point, is you have to start somewhere, and you're never going to be an expert straight away. And over time, by pushing it out, exploring these different forms, this creativity, this kind of urge, because everything has to be led through that urge of wanting to try something new, and accepting that, hey, I'm not going to be perfect straight away. I feel like because everything is so visible to everyone now, everyone just has this expectation that you're supposed to be an expert at everything straight off the bat, which is not the case. When I think about my jewelry and where it is now, and even though I'm not actively pursuing it right now, which is perfectly fine as well, you're allowed to stop and start create your creative side projects or your passions. It doesn't have to be a consistent run of it throughout your whole entire life. Like, you're allowed to stop and start it back up again whenever you want. I have obviously received some incredible opportunities that I would never would have imagined up for myself. Like my first ever runway show, performance, art runway, I'm not sure how to put it, with a bunch of other jewelry artists 2 years ago. And then just last year, I had my very own collaborative runway show with a clothing designer. Never would have imagined that. Sold out show, might I add. And I was able to sell so many of my pieces after that show. And I built up a really supportive following. I met a lot of other creatives through that experience. That would never have happened if I hadn't have just been posting my jewelry. If I kept that to myself, if I didn't go to markets and try and sell things to new audiences, like, you just don't know who's watching you to give you these opportunities. You just don't know. Another thing I also wanted to talk about is the people you meet in your life. It's not even just about being creative. I'm sure we've all come across a stranger on the street where we've felt inspiration from. Maybe an outfit, maybe they're reading a book you want to read. And I think that's something that is really important, is, again, you don't know who's watching. And by being yourself, you're kind of like being this communal Pinterest board in a way. Like, I think we forget that Pinterest before Pinterest was real life. When I think back to times before social media, I was reading Eve Babbitt's book, Eve's Hollywood, and a lot of the things that she took inspiration from was by individuals she would meet. It could be just one singular person she met at a party one night or on the streets, and then that has then led her through the rest of her life with that mentality. It's the quotes we hear from randoms, it's the songs we hear on the side of the road. We ask what's playing, then that has a significance in our life. It's, I don't know, there's just, never know. You never know where that's going to lead you and how that's going to have such an impact on who you are as a person, or your mindset, or where that pathway is then going to lead you to. I met my best friend at a concert. It was a Troye Sivan concert, would you believe? And at the time, I was not a Troye Sivan fan. I was going with my friendship group from high school, and we were taking photos outside the town hall in Auckland, and I saw this girl standing at the doorway wearing denim dungarees, this beautiful, like, iridescent purple, white, grey, blue, reflective hair. Like, it was just, captivating. So I walked over to her, stood next to her, started up a conversation. She then got a free ticket to the concert. We all got to go in together, saw her on the balcony, followed her on Instagram, didn't think anything of it. 6 months later, I needed somebody really interesting to film my media studies documentary on. I decided to do this on my own. So I contacted a few people, went through my Instagram following, and I was like, oh my God, what about Gray? So messaged her because I loved what she was sharing. I loved what she was posting online. I loved whatever she was creating. I was a fan. And she was sharing these makeup looks, posting these amazing photos of herself and uploading really cool YouTube videos. And I was the one that was watching. And to this day, she's like my best friend in the whole wide world. So, and that was almost 9 years ago now. So the most special people or things you can find, or that can find you, is from putting yourself and whatever you have to offer to the world out there. There's nothing stopping you from being that authentic self. And if you turn around and change your mind and decide you don't want to be that person anymore, that's okay too. I look back at my YouTube videos now and I'm so proud of that person for just really being and tapping into whatever she wanted to tap into. Because even to this day, I take inspiration from her. I watched one of my old YouTube videos the other day and I was like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to do that again. And I think that's what inspired me to do these videos again. If I'm feeling compelled to speak, so I'm going to do it. And I was watching other creators doing this. So you just don't know. You don't know where your actions are going to lead someone else to find great opportunities for themselves. And I think that's really special and a really cool way of using social media as a way of building a community where we all just want to inspire each other to reach new heights, new things, find new ways of expressing ourselves and new ways of connecting. And yeah, I'm going to leave that there. That's my first episode, I guess, first essay. I've already written up notes for the next one. I would love to hear what you have to say about this. And if you're in a time of your life where you don't feel the need to express yourself, that's okay too. If you're in a time of your life where you so desperately crave to express yourself in ways that you are too scared to even try, take it one step at a time. Post that photo that you're terrified of posting, because who cares? And I think it's all coming from, that we all want to feel seen. We all want to see ourselves in the world as well. So, and I think connecting and taking inspiration from all that we love is a way to do that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Comment below. Would love to start a conversation. I will see you next time.